rockers, what up? Various artists in the diaspora, about the general spoken word clientele. So I feel good about that. This is about like people being individuals, not necessarily poets, you know. So stories, commentaries, spew, lyrics, poetry, whatever you want. So I usually kick this thing off. We have amazing people here tonight to spew their mic and pulpit and say their piece. So this is called I Think.
What's your name?
My name is Perry.
Yeah.
Well, there's something for Pee-wee, but that's another story. But it's called I Think. What I'm thinking is loving. What I'm loving is thinking. I think, therefore, fuck this. I think, therefore, no justice, no peace. I think, therefore, not this hoax. I think, therefore, not a joke. I think, therefore, no enemies but for ones within. I think, therefore, soul is conscience, patience thin. I think, therefore, won't be sold. I think, therefore, seize this day. I think, therefore, I know the way and what to do. I think, therefore, old ways always give into new. I think, therefore, fuck you. Thank you. I'm working on a book called She Looked a Lot Like Che Guevara, Occupied Poems, and I'm going to read from it ones that I haven't read before. So forgive me if it's a little rusty or whatever. This is called Black Bloods. Dick-faced, evil, psychotic president. Nazi versus Nazi-light propaganda TV. Mainstream paralyzation network technique. Worms in a machine. They call themselves blue bloods. I call them black bloods. Earth's lowest life forms. That was Black Bloods. Thank you. More information inside. Deep inside my mind, I'm a spy. Though you think you're sly, think my hands are tied, there's more information inside. Break my mind, you're breaking news. Breaking the cell and the illusion. Quit the noise, morning to night, brain on a wire wrapped bloody tight. Weaponized, stolen time, whose side is anybody on? News gone in a flash. I remember yesterday. Truth turned out a lie, never revisited. They want me at war, I am at one. Force-fed the book, mouth and hook, not my reality. I see you when I look. Right past your top-down game, ain't it a shame? Deep inside my mind, I'm a spy. Though you think you're sly, think my hands are tied. There's more information inside. Information inside. Information inside information. Thank you. If you see something, say something. I see ignorance taking over, running amok. I see too many eyes fixed on the ground. I see nobody questioning, afraid to make a sound. I see this boat ain't rocking. I see this ship is sinking. I see your soul coughing. See through your glass coffin. spilligarchy, oil spilligarchy, whether Trump, Clinton, or Biden malarkey, poison waters swimming sharply, death, dinosaurs of fossil fuels. Carry the torch, travels the flame, shoots forth the fist, puts the domino down, and the dicks all fall. Thank you. This is called TV lobotomy. TV lobotomy, alternate reality, neutralize ability to navigate critically, decapitate cynically, mental capacity, obliterate unity with laser precision. Spoon-fed narcotically, sugar-coated weaponry, obfuscate worldview, collective not conscious, hook, line, sink, not think, to blink. Stream agenda, propaganda under boot breakneck speed. Erasing past, replacing fast, drilling a hole in your mind.
It's so not funny. Okay. This is a anti-war. Okay. This is the state of the machine. I think we know what the machine is.
This is called law machine. Cometh, grumbling, devouring its path. Coming for you, all that you do, think, feel, think you know. Virus, vulture, vampire, greed, need to profusion, singular implosion. Vampire, vulture, virus, incumbent upon us, reversal back to source. Incite, encircle, transmute, roots, inversion, heart, stone, fire, immersion, violet, devours, violence. The whole, plan, span, design, micro, macro, golden, fine, filament. Heaven, seven, dimension, retire. Vulture, virus, vampire. Freedom Tower. Freedom Tower. Free to what? Destroy other countries? Be surveilled? Lose your last vestige of privacy until you forgot it ever existed? Witness helpless air, water, food, and sky become poisonous and die? Vote for Coke or Pepsi, water be damned? Be distracted? Divided? Free to hate? Freedom what?
I'm just gonna do one more, and then we're gonna get to Katrina Tomar, a very special guest indeed. This is called, thank you everyone for being here, by the way. It's a gorgeous night. I know, I appreciate you being indoors right now instead of out. This is called the 10 Commandments of the Military-Industrial Complex. 1, thou shalt not think. 2, thou shalt not feel. 3, thou shalt be wholly ignorant of thy government's secret functions. 4, thou shalt engage neither in the protection, preservation, nor conservation of the environment. Thou shalt neither study nor advocate peace. Thou shalt not engage in democracy at home or abroad. Thou shalt not exercise solidarity with working people or labor movements at home or abroad. Thou shalt relinquish municipal guardian and ownership of the public domain and shall not interfere nor prevent the transfer of said domain to private corporate ownership. Thou shalt covet thy neighboring country's resources. Thou shalt not love.
Oh.
All right, everybody, thank you so much.
start to get exciting now because Katrina is next. Katrina Delmar. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Thank you, Perry. That was I was only laughing because I was like, yeah, you know what I mean, right? I hope.
Yeah, felt pretty staged.
What?
You felt pretty staged.
Oh. No, I'm just like excited. I brought a bunch of shit that isn't even like supposed to be here. Sorry.
Yeah, shit.
My name's Katrina Delmar. I'm grateful to be here. I wanted to read this song. Okay, I've got a band called Tracy City, and we're kind of new. And should I take this off?
Yes.
We're not gonna get COVID today, are we?
No.
All right, I'm gonna read some lyrics from one of my songs. Let's hope I can remember it. Are you digging the past, the kids and the hate? Did you think it would last? You came way too late. Television victim, identity scrubbed, grazing at a buffet for a flank steak. Mind and body a victim of my meal. I gotta remember for a second. It's hard without music, sorry. Thanks, man. Thanks, Prince. Can you sell a better idea? Can you sell a Ford? Can you afford your life? Did you sell outright? This truck is made by Ford and my face is on the floor. Did you buy a truck? Did you buy my cunt? On my own planet without an atmosphere. Tell me how you breathe. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel. Tell me more about that. Sell me a new monitoring device. My every move becomes the content. A freely given affliction, a mass focus, addiction, shrewdly instilled in the masses. Mind for media, mass graves. Removed from violence just by a hair. Cover it up with a bed of roses, hashtag red flowers, hashtag massacre, hashtag selfie. Spread it. You blend your brains into the device. You're the zombie product of this apocalypse. Oh, the zombie product of this apocalypse. Consumer content. Shopping is for cunts.
Stop, chocolate.
There's more, but I can't remember. Let's end it right there. That's good. That's that one. That was called Trying to Breathe. And I'll read you some poems, all right? I wrote some poems. Like, I injured myself. I was taking the bus a while back, and I was like, I had to write some poems while I was riding on the bus. Mother's Day. I am a miracle. It could have easily gone quite differently. That's the end. All right. Yeah, miracle. Wait, I got one for Ash Wednesday. I don't think I'll find it, but I like holiday poems. Screw it. Oh, I got a Valentine's one. I don't know if there's a Valentine's one. I placed my heart in your hands. I didn't know that my skin was thin enough to reach in and grab it. So I was barely paying attention to myself, so caught up in your infectious laugh, your great conversation. I placed my heart in your hands. You didn't know it was a real heart. How could you? No statements were made. No, this is important. You could have thought it a paper heart, a Valentine, made of cheap, chalky candy. Who eats those? They wind up on the floor, crushed into powder with one boot stomp, which is what went down and me with it. Oh yeah, here, okay, this is another, I don't even know what it is. It's another poem. Everybody left, the party is over, it's quiet in here, deflated. The corner where you kissed me is still dark, sticky. I won't clean up now, I'll leave it dirty for a while to remember better the sweet smell of your neck. Egyptian musk, or was it Blue Nile? The salt taste when you bit my lip and it bled a little. I'm biting it now to remember better. The sting, the salt, the blood. the smell of stale beer. In trouble again with a blonde who always seems a little dusty and higher than me by at least a head. Still, her skirt drapes the floor and she pulls away as an older version. Oh, this is a really short one. Disappearance is your forte, your summer sky's starry night. Between every bright spot, a black hole, vast and inviting. Okay. Are these poems, do they suck or do they not suck?
They're completely awesome.
I think we have a directive, the poetry better not suck.
You are not suck.
Oh, I have another, Oh, this is a vampire one. I love your poetry, Perry, thank you. I picture myself as a bloodless thing made out of paper, easily compressed. A book or a corrugated box, mortified, exhaling waft being crushed into a crack in the floorboards. Evening up a table where people sit and laugh. The vampire version of In This Fiction lost precious blood through its endless crazy desire for the pernicious anemic. She cast me in this part. She gave so much and then drawing back, drew blood. And drew more, deep drafts. I didn't know she could drink so much. Like the seventh Chinese brother who swallowed the sea, leaving fish flipping and gasping, whales all beached because it's all beach, with no ocean. I am gasping, appalled, and realizing I let it happen. She has drained me, and now I've died, only I'm still here. And if something presses on me, I lifelessly exhale her name in a whisper. Come on, guys, come on! I like that one. I don't know. I said that as a text to somebody who dumped me, and then they were like, "You really need to stop texting me." And I'm 40 at this point, 40 something, and you really, and this 20 something, you really need to. But then later, many months later, she was like, "That poem was really great." I was like, "Oh, that's all I needed. Thank you."
Confirmation.
Okay, I started writing a novel based on, some of you guys know that I make girl gang movies, or I used to make girl gang movies, and so, thank you. Yeah, Gang Girls 2000 and Surf Gang and Hell on Wheels Gang Girls Forever. It was a trilogy of approximately half-hour girl gang movies, but they were really ambitious, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I was like, yeah, 30 people, no problem, casting a bunch of people and making them much bigger than they should have been. And then 10 years after Gang Girls came out, I was like, I'm gonna write the novel that it should have been based on, because I had so many ideas, you know how it goes, right? So this is a few pages out of the novel. I'll jump around a bit.
We're not here.
Wow.
We're not here.
I lived on the block with the most famous dope spot in the
Wait.
East. Hey, hi. Yeah, I'll get it.
Wrong number.
Just answer KGB boss.
So loud.
Your 3 minutes are up.
KGB.
KGB, what do you want?
What do you want?
He's KGB.
No, we tell you what you want.
Putin.
Put under it.
No, call back and check this for Kelly, okay?
Thanks, Terry.
Prostituzione di
Let's get another round of applause for Terry. Thank you. Okay. I don't know which part to read. Which part should I read? Shit, sorry.
Best part.
Yeah, right. No pressure or anything.
Every part's best.
I'll read a couple of sections. You guys can just... I lived on the block with the most famous dope spot in the East Village. It was called the Laundromat because it was in a laundromat. And I was so naive, I did my laundry there. I asked my new roommate, Lauren, a girl with long blonde hair and a vaguely English accent and a boyfriend in a band who dyed his long hair black and had the skinniest legs I'd ever seen. I asked her, why are all these people lined up in front of the laundromat? She said, honey, they're lined up to buy dope. This is the biggest dope spot in the neighborhood. This is the Sears Roebuck of dope. I was astonished. I just couldn't believe people standing in line like that. I started to notice other little things about the block. Warren said, here's why you'll never get mugged on East 7th Street. It's a dope spot, and the ponies allow no other crime here. They have lookouts, and they don't want police. The ponies police this spot. It's probably safer than any other block in New York. This, the Hells Angels block, and maybe the block where the police precinct is. Hot nights, I'd sleep up on the roof. The old steel safety grating over my ground floor windows wouldn't open. It's lucky we never had a fire. I couldn't have put an air conditioner, even if I could afford one. The backyard was a mess. It smelled vaguely like cat piss and was filled with dark trash. But up on the roof, on a summer night, the breezes blew and it felt fresh and clean. I'd sleep up there, occasionally waking. I'd see a silhouette, a guard on the neighboring roof. I felt safe up there because I knew there was a lookout. Rumors flew through the neighborhood about the gang, that they kept horses in their apartments. Nobody knew for sure, and at that time I surely didn't. But I could hear horses. I heard them especially at night, hooves on pavement. One day I was out on the stoop when a fight broke out between a drunk guy with a baby and a stroller and the bodega owner. The drunk was trying to force the stroller through the tiny doorway into the tiny shop, and it just wouldn't fit. He was going in for yet another beer. The poor baby, maybe a 2-year-old, sweet girl looking helplessly over her shoulder as she was being jerked around backwards. The shopkeeper said, "Yo, you can't be none in here." "Fuck, I can't," the guy muttered. "I seen horses coming through here." Riding through everything, riding through every building on this block. "Shut the fuck up." The shopkeeper looked up and down the block nervously, looked at me as if to see as if I heard. I just dropped my chin in rhythm and adjusted my headphones as though I was listening to music. Down the street was the ponies' headquarters. For this neighborhood, it was an old building, maybe built in the 1840s. I found out later how vast their network was, how under this building tunnels went to the river, to the subways, to the bridge anchorages. Now it was just a building full of mysterious women, and I couldn't stay away. Fuck, I wish there was the page before this one. It's just like, all right, I'll read another little tiny section of this, all right? It's just like I just grabbed some pages. I was working on this really hard in 2014, and then I just stopped because I'm an asshole. So this is about the glitter girls who have like, they ride little bicycles, and there's been some kind of fight with another gang, and they've just found all their bikes like burned. And Jem is trying to fix it. I mean, she's this Jem because it's about the dialogue, right? I mean, it'll take a little while for this mess to just cool down. I could try to find a hose hook for one of these fire hydrants. She looked around at the nearby fire plug, which obviously hadn't been hooked up to water in years. "Honey, listen," I said, and I took her by the arm. "Look at me." Jem turned to me. "Jem, what's going on with the glitter bombs?" "Those are still in progress, little chick. I think I'm close, but I had a tough time in testing them to produce any consistent results." That Jiang Lee says. I cut her off. "But they can do some damage, right?" I asked. "Well, yeah." "Okay, the crew will deal with getting these frames back to the yard, ordering new parts, and getting everything cleaned up. You put those bombs into action." "I don't know, little chick. I think we need more testing. The results have been inconsistent. Everything from a minor concussive sound explosion that produces temporary blindness and an earache to a major one that knocked a cinder block off a platform and through several walls. It's a good thing I was wearing a helmet." "Go to work on those glitter bombs, Jem. Make a dozen. I need to show those fucks who they're fucking with." I need to show those fucks who the fuck they're fucking with. We regarded our wrecked heap of a fleet once more, let us collected it. And they ride little, Schwinn girly bikes, you know what I mean? Banana seat bikes, that's what they're looking at, okay? We regarded our wrecked heap of a fleet once more while dusk collected it, the shadows and the contrast heightened. Kids were running around the flames, chasing each other, laughing. I didn't want to break up the party. We'd come back tomorrow for the frames. It was a beautiful summer night. Okay. I got one more. Can I go in over time? All right. This is another, so like that stuff's from 2014. The poems are from like, I don't know, 2007 or so. And this is new. Like I started writing this a couple days ago. No, like whatever, a couple weeks ago. And it's another Tracy City song. And we're playing next, I think, October 28th at Otto's Shrunken Head. I think so, anyway, we'll see. Back room. The song I don't know what it's gonna be like. All right, let's try it. This is usually like really loud and blah, 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 but I'll just try it. This is called Flyover People. This clown show was self-created, a delusion for the inundated. We find the continental divide is driven into the grooves of subliminal pride. Well, whatever you gave it a lot. You've got federal judges with treacherous thoughts. We're out of the frying pan and into the fire. Share your racist views and you're preaching to the choir. Flyover people, I want to love everyone, but you make it hard when you trample my rights and laugh while people are dying. This clown show, this delusion, deliberately sown for mass confusion. We find division proficiency gets results, begets a sour child hurling loud insults. This sour child became a leader, a fascist pig, a dangerous creep to the incel, inbred, white bread, freedom-loving, flyover people. Flyover people, I hate you for a reason, you know. You make it hard to love when you step on my neck and believe in pricks who are lying. They say cherchez la femme, but I say, it ain't us women, is it? Are you listening, sister? These are all my people. Is it too much to ask them to stop punching down? Union carbide, carpet bombing. Oh, are there too many laws? Are there too many restrictions on your freedom to rape, murder, desecrate, rip it up by the roots and set it on fire? Flyover people, you don't understand your history. You fear the wrong thing, you're punching down, believe in pricks who are lying, sneer when people are crying, laugh when people are dying. That's wow. Thank you so much.
Warm around for Katrina. That was really inspiring.
The lyrics really put a nice capstone on the whole thing.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
So we're all gonna go see Tracy City. What day was that?
October 28th.
October 20th at Otto's. Everyone's favorite free.
Thank you, Kat. Next we have Sir Prince McNally,
Who has been coming here from the beginning and doing open mics and astonishing everyone. And so now he's got his time at the pulpit. Thank you, friends. Prince McNally. Woo!
What's up, guys? Sweet soliloquy. Yes. And when I die, may the wolves and coyotes cry out my name in sweet soliloquy. From the cliffs of the mountains, howling haiku at the purple moon, where purple flowers bloom, in your third eye I will exist. Eternally in the womb of your subconscious, raising hell, raising questions, raising your consciousness to the highest vibration. For in times of revolution, truth is never, sleep is never an option. It is time for you to awaken. As I rip this clip of metaformations from my thought patterns, brain cells are ringing all around Saturn, while back in the hood, rough riders are barking like rock riders. Prolific rhymers are catching Alzheimer's, and my peeps are mad illin' from this unrehearsed verse that I be spilling with the greatest of ease, like killer bees be slinging honey. Do you feel me, money? So microphone check me and please don't test me, cause my thoughts are deep, throating like Monica Lewinsky. I'm not Bill Clinton, so don't go acting fruity, trying to impeach me over this silly chit chatter, cause it really doesn't matter, you see. Misogyny, I'm not with, it's merely a waste of my gift, so I aim my pen towards the positive tip of the iceberg named Slim. Shady though be the hood, but it's all good, for I am the phoenix rising, uplifting the downtrodden like the homeless, begging for social change. A computer whiz, hacking into brains. I am a political prostitute, giving the government head trips to the outer limits of my subconscious so they can truly see from thine own eyes what it feels like to be demoralized, desocialized, utterly despised. See how ghetto babies never cry wolf, for they merely cry when they are hungry and when shit needs to be changed. Metaphor nations. "10,000 pills of silence. From sunrise to sunset, 24 hours a day we sell our souls so that we may dance with the devil's daughter just one more time around the dance floor. Like zombies, we stand patiently in line to receive our daily bread. Like Holy Communion, we open wide to swallow this unholy supplement, this miracle provider of instant gratification, for we have adapted to a lower standard of living, self-medicating our ills. 10,000 pills, 365 days of this sweet remedy of jovial bliss. Sometimes addiction masquerades as inspiration, its seductive lips slowly sucking you into submission as it swallows you whole. Down the rabbit hole you go to a lifelong journey of pain and misery in this never-ending quest for happiness. We blindly chase this tragic notion of life, squeezing a needle through the eye of our storms, the blue blood of our veins erupting like a volcano, for we have succumbed to the proverbial monkey on the backs of junkies chasing their next fix. An epidermis needle aflame with liquid gold found deep within the soul of Cloud 9. Oh, how divine this temporal world of fantasy and bliss, where 10,000 pills sing us a lullaby of sleep. In this never-ending quest for peace, will this be the day of an endless sleep? The day we end our pain? Will this be the day that we silence our demons? Thank you. This piece is called Struggling to Breathe, preceded by Little Sam Cooke. I was born by the river in a little tent. No, just like that river, I've been rolling ever since. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. 'Cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long, long time coming, and I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. So I go to my brother and I ask him, brother, help me please. But he winds up just putting me down, down on my knees. Whoa, there have been times when I thought I wouldn't last too long. But now I know I can carry on. It's been a long time coming, and I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Shortly after the Chauvin conviction, the collective lungs of Black America joyously expanded, exhaling a heavy sigh of relief and jubilation, not just for the memory of George Floyd, but for 400 years of pain and injustice. For all those who have fallen in the struggle at the hands of the slave trade in the Middle Passage, at the hands of Jim Crow, at the hands of police brutality, the judicial system, and the prison industrial complex, at the hands of hate and oppression via systemic racism. It was a short-lived celebration, for soon after there was another killing, another murder, and collectively we sighed as the air escaped our lungs. We began to sink back into the hole they tried so hard to bury us in, saying to ourselves, oh my God, here we go again, America. Another lynching of another African-American citizen. I have grown so weary of the news. I rarely watch television these days. I'm so damn tired of this ongoing saga of Black folks being slaughtered at the hands of the police. It's a recurring theme, a nightmare so surreal you develop a kind of immunity where your soul grows cold with a hollow numbness that escapes your senses. You become tone deaf with an ear of indifference, a coping mechanism blind to injustice. At some point, you cease counting the numbers, the names and faces become inconsequential, just one massive blur, an abstract collage of African-American tragedy, just another Black body under attack, under fire, under siege, under a noose or an officer's knee, just another senseless act of police brutality leaving in its wake another grieving family, another life extinguished, another soulless carcass, a barren shell of blackness swallowed whole by hatred. In moments such as this, we question God's intention. Wherein lies the hand of grace? Where's Jesus when you need him? But as much as we yearn for answers, raising questions never once raised the dead. So what's the moral of this poem? Perhaps these mounting crucifixions are but a stepping stone, a pathway to heaven, a portal to immortality. If only we could martyr them, but how do you martyr someone who did not choose to die? So we pray for them as we lay this mournful bed of flowers at their graves. We weep for them in the ocean of tears, for their last breath was wasted, struggling to breathe.
Yeah.
These drums. Do you hear the drums beating? Can you feel their vibration? They call upon you to remember, to honor all the women and girls who were lost to the Middle Passage, lost to religious persecution, lost to domestic violence and human trafficking, all the women and girls burned at the stake, victims of misogyny, all the women and girls illegally held as political prisoners. These drums cry for all the women and girls unheard and unseen, lost and never found, lost and never found, lost and never found. These drums are for all the battered women and girls, mentally and physically scarred, who wish to leave and yet they stay and stay and stay. They stay out of confusion and fear and loyalty. They stay to maintain their family. They stay because they love him. They stay because they worship him. They stay because they've been led to believe it's their fault he beats them and no one else will ever want them. They stay because they have no other options, no money, no job, no place to go, no place to hide. Besides, he would find them anyway. Self-esteem stripped away as tortured psyches lie hopelessly smothered in narcissistic trauma. These drums are for all the victims of murder, rape, sexual harassment, stalking, kidnapping, and gaslighting, placed in institutions by their husbands. These drums are for those who suffer in silence, who never complain or press charges, no faith in the system that blames the victim, voiceless in the system created and controlled by old white men. These drums cry out for all the indigenous women and girls who vanished from reservations, for all the politically and socially oppressed women and girls around the world who vanished without a sound, without a trace, for all the women and girls of color, queer, gay, and transgender, for all the streetwalkers and runaway girls who vanished without a sound, without a trace, without a second thought, without a whisper from mainstream media, because unless you are privileged or white, your life doesn't matter, your humanity doesn't matter. These drums cry a soliloquy of tears for all the women and girls unseen and unheard who vanished without a sound, without a trace, lost and never found, lost and never found. These drums hear you, these drums see you, these drums, these drums, these drums, these drums, these drums beat for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince. Oh my God, oh my goodness.
Wow, that was devastating, absolutely beautiful, and just cut right through the universe. Thank you so much for sharing and enlightening us. And thank you, Katrina, as well, for sharing and enlightening us and being the most, an extremely mod, cool, crazy punk dyke filmmaker, genius, poet. We're going to take a short break now so people can go to the bar and take a minute. Then we have Jenny Gonzalez Blitz coming up next, and a very special secret guest. Please do not, please just hang and drink, and we'll be back soon. Thank you so much, Katrina and Prince.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you. Welcome Jenny Gonzalez Blitz to the microphone. Please, Jenny. Thank you. Jenny is a punk rocker through and through, and a comic book artist, radical genius. Jenny Gonzalez Blitz.
Hello, thank you. One thing I'm not really, though, is a poet. So, what I'm going to read is a little different. It's some journal entries from last year when me and my husband were homeless. So, I guess now they call it unhoused. I mean, the same damn thing. And I'm working on a fictionalized graphic novel with Clayton Patterson about our experiences, but that doesn't work in a reading unless you have a projector and all this bullshit. So
Get Seth.
this is gonna be just, I copied some of the diary entries I did during that time into this book. I'm gonna read some of them. So let's see. This is August 10th, 2021. I haven't updated in almost a month since we first went for an intake at the shelter on 31st Street, who in turn sent us to, oh thank you, to the family shelter at Auburn Place in Brooklyn. That was before Eric fell in the subway station and broke his right leg. The one that, for those of you who have met my husband, is not disabled from birth. He broke that one. He broke that one, the straight one. The staff there always played a lot of games. There was one nice person where you sign in when you go in or out named Denise. And a couple of janitors are okay, and you know, for those of you who are interested, I brought some show and tell. Well, these are meal tickets, but you also had similar tickets to these when you signed in or out. Like, you know, just I had them taped in my diary. Like, just fascinating, huh?
Yes.
Because yeah. That you needed to prove to them every time that you belonged in there, even though they knew who you were. Yeah, there was a nice lady named Denise who was at the front desk, and there were a couple of the janitors who were okay, but most of the staff, well, you couldn't get the same story out of two people if you asked them. You know, everybody just would send you this way, that way, and the other way, and just lie to people there for the hell of it, you know, when you're trying to sort your way through the bureaucracy. So, with my husband in the hospital, I was assured that I would be good to stay in the room there after giving them copies of his hospital records until he came back, but they chose to force me out on a Sunday afternoon. They threatened to throw my stuff out on the front courtyard. Being a Sunday, of course, our caseworker wasn't there, and the lady, Miss Darnell, who was overseeing things, tells me we are no longer a family, and tells me also that she was never given any hospital records. I offered to call Eric right then and there on the spot, but she's not interested. She's pretty much heavily implying that she thinks my husband abandoned me and shacked up with some sugar mama. And I want to punch her right in her smug face, but instead I just grab the Google Maps printout she's given me to Franklin Women's Shelter, which is in an armory that's in the ass end of the Bronx while I'm in central Brooklyn. It's a walk from the 5 train, which I have to take and get to myself, in the pouring rain, which starts almost immediately after I leave the subway. Another intake, I explain what's happened. They're not quite sure what to do with me, except that I and the other arrivals can't stay there for more than one night because the armory is under repair. After we are set up in the one functioning dorm and serve some bologna sandwiches, one of the other arrivals, a friendly dreadlock lesbian named Jamie, who's familiar with the neighborhood, tells me and Nancy, a tall, striking woman who tells us she's recently converted to Islam, that she knows of a nearby bodega with cheap liquor and Lucy's. It's a half hour before curfew and the rain has let up. Saying we want snacks, we find a spot in a closed churchyard, and feeling like a group of high school girls sneaking cigarettes and mini bottles of Fireball tequila before our parents call us in, exchange stories. Nancy has lost her home in a fire, and Jamie and her girlfriend had been living together in close quarters throughout the pandemic and were kind of unable to stand each other, and she'd kind of bought into the idea that this was the way to get low-income housing. And while that's true, it's a quicker way to get low-income housing than actually being on the street. It's still just a complete clusterfuck. So, August 13th, 2021. Either things moved too fast or not at all. I was moved to a COVID quarantine hotel in Spanish Harlem, and when my test came back negative, me and Jamie went to a shelter in East New York, and now I've been moved to a women's shelter on Tillery Street. Nancy was sent somewhere else, I'm not sure. What's weird though is that they moved a bunch of people to this and some other shelters in the middle of the night. I'm sitting in the cafeteria writing this at 2:30 a.m. The other two they sent here were Kim, the Jamaican German non-binary who always does her nails neon, and the girl I think might be named Robin. She's always asking for cigarettes from people because she doesn't feel like going over the tracks to the store on Junius that sells Lucy's. No one gave much explanation of who was picked to be sent here or why, but looking around, it's obvious that this is a shelter for people with psych stuff going on. The posters on the wall give a very hospital vibe, and there's a nurse who's here to check if you're medication compliant. The only difference between this and the psych ward I was in about a decade ago is that I'm free to come and go, as long as I make it back before curfew. And for the record, if you do look up 200 Tillery Women's Shelter, it is in fact a shelter for women with either mental health or mental illness or substance abuse problems. And you can read all kinds of fun things. August 14th, 2021. Yesterday they were giving out $100 gift cards to people who get vaxxed in our shelter. There was a doctor and nurse team who came to do it. I showed them my card from when Eric and I got vaxxed back in March before we were even here, but they said, I don't get $100 unless I did it again there. And this is before boosters, by the way. They just wanted me to get another one. Some women who were already vaxxed said they would get another just to get the $100 gift card. Now, I don't know if I subscribe to Nick Zed's belief that all vaccines are bad, for those of you who knew him, but I do question vaccines given in a homeless shelter of mostly black and brown women with mental illnesses and addictions. I texted Jamie, who was still in the shelter in East New York, and she said they weren't offering them there. She also texted me quite a bit of anti-vax information herself, stating that it was a white supremacist plot. And that was her take on vaxes. Well, I don't know what's in these shots, but it's probably not the same as the ones at the pharmacy. And yeah, to this day, I don't know why that particular shelter was offering people money incentives to get shots. And, you know, because vaccines in most other places were free. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, on the elevator down to go see Eric, a big bald woman threatened me. Don't you go acting like you live here, you're gonna get beat up, before storming off on the second floor as two security guards laughed, looking at me. I just looked back at them and said, I don't snitch. What did they want me to say? August 15, 2021. Last night all my trains were delayed coming back from seeing Eric, so I missed curfew by 11 minutes. As punishment, the guards put me and other latecomers in a filthy piss and gray water flooded back room till after bed check. And this is where I got into my first drunk crack hoe fight. It wasn't with the bald lady who threatened me earlier, but with this 3'2" scale of a woman who didn't want me to sit on the few metal hole pattern chairs provided. She thought she owned them all, I don't know why. But I was too exhausted, overwhelmed, and bitchy for that. You don't own them, I said, as I pressed my thighs into the cold and not really comfortable metal. And suddenly she comes at me, and I'm back up again, blocking her while her friend tries to calm her down. We find ourselves in a lock, pushing and pulling at each other for about a minute before the guard comes back, apparently bored of what they're watching on the monitor. I guess, we're not glow. They tell the other woman that he saw her start it and asks me if I'm all right. I glance quickly over at him and look at Miss Skell in the eye and say, I'm good. Like I said the other day, I don't want to snitch. And I've learned guards in these places are not friends. Not taking my eye away from the woman, or my eyes, I continue to say, we really all need to go upstairs and rest. He leaves us, and then she begins to cry and apologize and pulls me into a hug, which I'm scared will turn into another attack, except that it doesn't. And then she asks me to sit down next to her and keep her company until we're allowed upstairs, which is all I wanted to do in the first place, just sit in a damn chair. So that's what I've got, and there's a lot more that I'm going to be keeping a memoir of, because I really think people need to hear what's going on in these places. Eric Adams' audits are bullshit, and I'll eventually talk about the way that we eventually got out of it, and the friend who helped us out, which is something that's going to be even harder for me to talk about. And I guess that was about 10 minutes, or
Please continue, you have a few more minutes.
Okay, let's see, I didn't transcribe, there was just, what else was there to talk about with that? There was a lot of unofficial prostitution going on there. Does anyone want to know anything about it? I don't know. I thought that was a good place to leave off a trailer. But, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Okay, sharing.
Glad you made it out of there,
Yeah, it was
Stay
nice
unscathed.
to depop, which kind of still too far from
This is
So the reason Jenny couldn't tell us about her exit from that place was because a Depop, a beloved musician,
Yes.
Lori say, helped her to transition out of that whole mess.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing the verite with us, We really felt like we were there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, anyway. Thank you, Jenny. And next we have Julia Pierce, who is a rocker extraordinaire, amazing songwriter, guitar player, and poet as well. She has a band called Tits, Dick, Ass, which is kind of biographical. And so let's welcome Julia Pierce. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. How's everyone doing? So yeah, I've been living without a cell phone for like a couple weeks now. Insurance is kind of it's a pain in the ass, and you're on the phone with like computers / people, and it kind of drives you crazy. Like I don't know, like being on the phone with AT&T for like an hour or two is like cause for existential crisis, no doubt. Even during the call at one point, the person I was talking to asked me if I was like at work or home enjoying my favorite TV show. And I think it's really weird how they're starting to try to incorporate things into their like script to make them seem like they're friendly or they care about you. It's like really uncomfortable. So I don't know. But yeah, not having a phone has been kind of really nice for reasons and also really stressful. It's actually been really good for creativity's sake. It's like New York when the pandemic was happening, there was quarantine, and they were saying like dolphins were coming back and to nature, and everything started flourishing. I really feel like my relationship with my like instrument and like songwriting and stuff has been really nice without the distraction of a phone, because it can definitely be distracting for me in many situations, and become habitual. But it's also really stressful for interpersonal relationships and things like that. So, for what it's worth, a lot of my good poetry is on my iPhone notes, which it also makes me realize like I'm an idiot for not writing stuff down in journals more. But it definitely goes straight to my iPhone notes. That said, though, I'm gonna recite some lyrics from some of our songs in TDA. And then, yeah, go from there. But thank you all for listening. Thanks for having me, Perry.
Thank you.
Have I crossed another boundary? Have I lost another part of me? Have I crossed another boundary? Don't you walk out on me. I want to see you dancing with the ghost of the night. So save me from whatever I told you. Goddesses rule the earth, bought and sold by you. Funny how the time was spent. I miss the old you. So funny how the time was spent. Girlfriend from hell, under my spell, under your spell. I don't want to be adored, buying things I can't afford. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be seen by you. Take me away from the edge. Take me away from you. Take me away from this god-awful place, hell. I am an evil bitch. I am an angel witch. I am the sad tranny. Ask me what do I fancy. Drop your pants and let me see. I burn everybody in my life. I kill everything in my way. Get out of my way when I don't get my way. Tell me I'm fine, but I'm not. I'm not doing so hot. Let me rot in hell with you. Slap me in the face, put her in her place. Burn a bitch to the bone. Welcome to the real world. Here we are, my heart, my soul. Water is boiling. Take what you want, and I don't know what is left for me. cross me, cross me. Slit her wrist, cut her throat. She doesn't know what she is worth. Asphyxiation. I am ready to die any day now. Asphyxiation. Turn the blind eye. Turn the blind eye. Whoa, I lost my job. My girlfriend's gone. My boyfriend's gone. I want to cry. I don't know why. I want to die. I don't know why. You suck the life right out of me, and when I'm with you, there is no room to breathe. Yeah, you suck the life right out of me. Why should I love you hopelessly, hopelessly? Burst of words, bursts of daylight, bursts of good night, bursts of laughter, burst of glory, burst of blurry, burst of fury, burst of dread, thirst for dead, hearst for cred, thirst for head. Another page, another day, scanning the streets for something to eat. I popped into a diner on Canal Street. I ate my breakfast, I drank my coffee. I wrote a page to write a page. It's time to do the work. Parentheses, whatever that means. If it wasn't for my devil's advocate, my naysayer, my pessimistic, self-loathing self, I might actually be happy. I think that is all for today. Thank you all so much. Let's see.
You don't need to read them, you know them.
Yeah, more lyrics. Okay. Time carves the ripples in your face. Time goes away. Time carves the ripples in your face. Time goes away. Is heaven still a possibility for me? Well, I don't want to waste my time. I'm already dead. Too late, the damage has been done. Am I too hard to love? I'm too hard to love. If Mother Mary is beautiful, then I am ugly, so shameful, so painful, so hateful. The only one who loves me, who loves me, who loves me. No, not Jesus. And if the devil stands between us, then you're in trouble, because I'm his lover. Who loves me? Who loves me? No, not Jesus. I think that is all I got today. But thank you all so much.
I like that improv.
Thanks for winging that. A woman without an iPhone. Good Lord, the peril. It actually worked quite well. I'm sure it would work quite well with everyone who loses their iPhone and doesn't have one for several weeks. Yay! Lost iPhones. Okay.
Why don't you read one of these?
I did.
You did earlier?
You guys weren't here.
Oh, I want to read some.
We have a slot, the TBA, to be announced, special guest, and guess who that is? It's Chris ICONICIDE.
Yay.
Let's hear it for Chris ICONICIDE. He's going to read from his ICONICIDE journal.
Yeah, I've been drafted as the special guest appearance. I am completely unprepared. Actually, I was completely unprepared, but I happen to have a couple of things in my bag. First off, I've wrote like 600 songs since I was 10, but I don't have any of those. I've had a band that I've been doing for the past 34 years. I wasn't prepared to do any of that material. I have 2 books out. One of them is a 556-page novelization of a post-apocalyptic comic book called Sick World. It has like 300 some odd illustrations. I didn't bring that. I have a second book that came out a couple of years ago called Notes from the Exploding Library. And it has a number of things, including my illustrated children's book, Around and About a Day or So Before or After Doomsday. It's sort of like Dr. Seuss meets Dr. Strangelove kind of thing. I didn't bring that. It also has my feature-length Hollywood movie script, Dumb and Dahmer, E-N-D. It's about a 2-headed serial rapist killer with half a brain between them who works as a tag team wrestler and lives in the basement of a trailer park because a Winnebago went down a sinkhole. And he's known as the Mary Mary Killer, but I didn't bring any of that. Instead, I'm going to start off with a haiku. Every so often on Facebook, I'm always like, you know, little slice of life things. This is the half a fucking glass haiku. Good thing I'm hopeless, because if I weren't, I'd be fucking depressed. People say glass is half empty, half full. It's half a fucking glass! And, yeah, thank you. I also happen to, I may do a bit of a republishing of my book because there's 80 pages of autobiography. My childhood was horrendously fucked up. And I just happened to bring along a sheet from one of the little things I was going to add to that autobiography. It's a short paragraph, one of my earliest memories. A memory of my mom bathing me in the twin kitchen sink, of growing big enough to warrant placement in the deeper one of the two to the right. As with my innocent play at 5 months old, pretending an upturned plastic and metal children's chair was the front end of a drag racer, I watched like Formula 500 races, and willing myself to crash and burn, as my mom was bathing me in the sink, at like 3 months old or whatever, I felt this to be a high point in my life. And were it, aka my life, to end at that moment, I would have considered it time well spent. But anyway, as said, I have a band. Well, I've been doing the band now. The band's called, I actually have 2 bands. The first band is ICONICIDE. People on Facebook have been putting on these frames around their pictures saying, sometimes antisocial, always anti-fascist. So last year, the year before, I put out these pins. It says, it's me with like a face mask and a black rubber gloves and like bug-eye sunglasses. And it says, always antisocial. Now fuck off. And I also have a hip-hop spin-off act I've been doing since 1990 called the Bum Rush Crew. We got everybody in the band, everybody in the group, their names are insults. They had DJ Cat Vomit, DJ Hockey Puck, because her glasses were so damn thick. Mr. Jiffy Pop Hat, because Rasta was in the band, Mr. Jiffy Pop Hat, anyway. But ICONICIDE, I have to bring a couple of copies if anyone wants to read the whole thing, of the 33rd anniversary ICONICIDE band history. So I'm going to read a little bit about from that. Okay. ICONICIDE ICONICIDE were officially born on December 30th of 1988, which is a USSR day, when drummer Vegan Mike, anyone remembers him, ex-lackey for Greenpeace and co-conspirator for Food Not Bombs NYC, approached Chris, yay, Black Thumb, The Anti-Messiah, Creeping Death, etc. After a reading Chris had just done at the now-defunct anarchist Switchboard, which was massacred by rampaging white Aryan resistance skinheads on July 4th, on the Independence Day of 1989, with a proposition of forming a band, since Chris had written at that time over 300 songs since he was 10, and had always intended to get a band together. Before Mike was to strike one skin, however, his squat burned to the ground while firemen stood by and watched. Mike lost his drum set in the fire, but went on to join No Commercial Valley. That's the band Scotty Sturgeon was in before Leftover Crack. He was just the guitar player. The singer was this girl. She was like a bargain basement dominatrix. You know, she'd tie people up with duct tape or whatever. Anyway, it's masking tape, I see. And, right. Later became one of the Saturday Night Go-Go Boys at the Pyramid, and is now a transsexual Detroit street hooker named Margarita. Guitarist Dirtbag was thrown off a subway platform shortly after approaching Chris about joining the band. Dirtbag later joined Dead Death. The band name was spelled D-E-D-E-T-H. Bassist Happy Mike was forced to join the band Artless to pay off a sizable debt to Michael Board. Guitarist Jimmy AWOL fled to Greece. Bassist John joined Psycho Sin. Drummer Krusty Dave joined Christ Rape. Classical flautist and bassist Jubilee suffered fits of morality and got engaged to a born-againer. Bassist Jinx, ex-Og-Ogs, they were a Go-Go's tribute band called the Og-Ogs, went bankrupt and moved to Ohio. Guitarist Ken, aka Blade, aka Pain, aka Omni, people just called him Kenny, moved in with Chris, bled him dry, and later, along with a cast of nefarious hangers-on, became Chris's own personal stalker. Had people from like KHB, you know, Kings Highway Boys, this Bushwick kind of gang, like tailing me on the subway, and Ken told them that I beat up his girlfriend or some shit like that. They ended up like giving me death threats over the phone. I happened to pick up the phone when one of them called me. Talked to the guy for like half an hour to 45 minutes. This guy was threatening to kill me. And he's like, man, I don't want to hang out with Kenny anymore. So, you know, yeah. But, Guitarist Zuleika joined Sisters Grimm and later joined the Wives. Guitarist Jen, aka Pagan, joined Chain Angel. Guitarist Aletha, aka Ariat Storm, was raped, impregnated, kidnapped, and married by a well-known Nazi Satanist. Aletha now works for Marvel Comics. This is all true. I tried to put it up on Wikipedia. They took it down. Too much crap to verify. Okay. Oh yeah, drummer Mario, aka Madge the Beast, ex-Armageddon, bedded 15-year-old bassist Anna at SDR Studios, sex, drugs, rock and roll, after propositioning Jen, and later made a play for bassist Easy Sherry, a half-black, half-Mohawk, bisexual, second-generation, suicidal alcoholic Buddhist, and alleged telepath. They said they were both telepathic, and I was reading the reception. Now, for a moment now, think of what it means to be second-generation suicidal. Obviously, somewhere along the line, someone is not that good at it. Anyway, okay. Yeah, Sherry and Mario, the couple dubbed Mary and Cheerio, you know, the old line, you can fuck a Cheerio without breaking it, were ditched as a body, though they claimed to have quit. Mario went on to join the band Singer Steel. Sherry, now known as Sherry Hunter, she liked Triple H, later hosted the California College radio show Audio 8 Ball. Bassist Damiana joined Children of the Night. Guitarist Bob Z, anyone remember Bob Z? Maybe. Became an internet consultant. Bob later joined the Sex Rays. Other potential band members headed for the hills upon hearing the band curse. Dramatic pause. On May 21st of 1993, Chris Me was bludgeoned to death on a subway platform on Flatbush. I was the wrong color at the wrong time. But was jump-started into a 1-month coma and returned to the band in time to record a demo in August, like 3 months after I was, landed in the coma. Let's see. Yeah, that was one of the 13 demos we recorded in like 7 years. With a lineup of Ari Viderci, ex-Urgent Fury and Sick Fucks, Frank, ex-Urgent Fury and Demo Mo, and bassist Bobo Liver, his name was Bob Oliver, I called him Bobo. ICONICIDE played 4 shows. Anyway, I gotta skip forward on some of this. Let's see, his grandmother died, he was stranded. Okay, drummer Paul, returning from the welfare motel after filling in for the band Betty Ford at CBGB's, was held up at gunpoint for his beeper, wallet, hat, hunting jacket, and the drums he was carrying. Woo! Yeah, bassist Alex Havoc was severely beaten the night before his first rehearsal, suffering a broken nose and separated shoulder. Woo! Yay. Anyway, it's all documented. I could, see. Guitarist Paul likes vaginal discharge. Played 2 shows. Anyway, he fled New York City to run away from the Illuminati, ended up living down in the belly of the beast in Washington, D.C. I mean, he's like office meds, walking up and down the streets, decoding government license plates. That's like the State Department. He's probably like the blue and black, the blue and white. He's like low-class Illuminati. Yeah. It's a good. Hey, can you wire me another $50? I'll get it Western Union. You go to this place. I'll go. But anyway, that's Paul. He's a really neat guy. Anyway, anyone wants to read a number of these? Any of these, I got like a couple of copies with me. Anyone wants any of the pins? I got 1 copy of the 30th anniversary CD. But read it and read, learn it and burn. It's all true. And also, you can get your parents' permission and log on to iconicide.com. That's ICONICIDE. Yay! Yeah. And also that book again. Anyone who's interested. If you want to read my children's book or excerpts of the comic or part of that 80-page autobiography, the name of the book is Notes from the Exploding Library. Check it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Completely unprepared.
Thank you for the spontaneous combustion. ICONICIDE is a treasure of the Lower East Side. They just bring it home every time. It's ghastly and amazing.
Thank you.
If you ever see a chance to see them, ICONICIDE. Okay, we have just a couple of people. Open mic. Doug Falkenberg, get up here quick, please. Thank you.
Wait, we're playing November 5th, Shillelagh Tavern in Astoria.
November 5th, ICONICIDE, Shillelagh Tavern in Astoria.
Yes, thank you.
Be there or be square.
Yes, or I will kill you.
Yes, thank you, Gary, for inviting me. So this poem is based on an observation of the schadenfreude that unrequited love engenders among your friends and acquaintances. Everyone likes to feel morally and emotionally superior when that sort of thing happens. But I noticed it was a peculiar mixture of self-loathing peculiar mixture of self-loathing, love, frustration, and anger that this happens to, when this happens. And I also noticed that so many of my friends have, at one point or another, been afflicted by this. So I wrote this poem, and the reason I'm telling you what it's about is it was designed to be set to classical music, a mixture of Tchaikovsky, Rachmaninoff, Beethoven, and Prince, which I would play in between the verses. And those, like Peter and the Wolf, those passages document the emotion going on at each of the stages of the poem. So that wasn't practical here, so I feel compelled to provide the explanation. It's called Swan Lake, a love poem. The storied Myrtle Avenue L, the last surviving vestige of the BMT structure, rumbles the shelters of the row houses, nesting behind, below, hiding within the streets, barely noticing the rats and humans huddling below, as if indifferent to the panoply of methionine and drama that survives with little grace and only occasional greatness. Doorways beckon, all locked except one. Curiosity, owning me like gravity, pulled me in, the turn of a doorknob into the apartment, dark and quiet, to the bedroom where she lay face down naked, sleeping, her regular breathing just a bit too methodical to be convincing. Textured skin with a hint of maple milkweed, oiled with a satin glycerin, playing light beams off the dales and mounds of her ass. Long and wispy whispers of the cut of her biceps, returning the streaks of white in her perfectly black hair. I walk over to her, and staring in a sea of black, her head turned askew, the fine crow's feet around her eyes, her thin lips and the knots in the small of her back. She breathes softly, almost too faint to be heard. Regular song, sotto voce, because I know her, rhythm, all too swell, subtle but strong, her heart oblivious to the strength around her, and especially for lesser mortals who dare to feel. Her aura, an enveloping mist, speaking of strength and love, as indomitable as it is impenetrable. Black fog, all-consuming, undeniably familiar and powerful, as it sweeps over me, welcoming me like an old friend. I feel my strength within her, knowing not what I can give her, as much as the power of she who radiates, a black raging force, violent and tender at the same moment, engulfing everything around her, swiftly and without any trace of mercy, beg though I must. Picking up a small bottle of oil from her nightstand, I coat my hands and start working on her arms, down the triceps and forearms to her hands, long calloused fingers with palms worn smooth. I feel each digit and move slowly, perhaps feeling list, consolation number 3, andante, and then starting on her back, working my thumbs into her neck muscles, my fingers moving in a glissando down the contours of her spine, noticing her breathing almost imperceptibly quicken, perhaps only a beat or two per minute. The oil pulls into the small of her back, and I start working there and moving over her buttocks and onto her legs as she, still sleeping, moans, so softly I almost don't hear it. The oil flows between her legs and I move my hand down, feeling how wet she is, but not quite violating her. Her breathing sharply increases, her eyes so closed, and now I lie down, face up on the bed below her thighs, my head between her legs. Slipping the glycerin tongue beneath her, finding the mark of despair that she offers, no glimmer of happiness, but with a calmness and sotto voce strength and a certainty of purpose meant to deceive, such as my own desperation can bear. I gently raise her pelvis and slide my head under her stomach. I lower her now and can barely breathe, but my tongue finds its mark, and slowly at first, not more than allegro and certainly mezzo pianissimo, I increase the speed accelerando as her dampness coats my lips and eyes. Her aura is strong now, a wild, raging, all-consuming roar of the tornado as I feel it penetrate me. And my tongue increases speed from 8th notes first to 16ths and then 30 seconds. Her full eclipse reaches the apogee of her crescendo, her voice coming now in short gasps and moans as she cries for the relief that will come all too soon. Presto agitito, as a quattro fortissimo taste bounces off her wetness, and she collapses into darkness, quiet now, without surrender, without 1 ounce of dignity spare. I remove my head from under her and hear her breathing slowly, slightly irregular. Now she really is sleeping, her head turned, silver earrings on display, the unspoken, unwritten dictum, never shared, never uttered, mean I must leave now. Silently, I open the door and step out into the humid August night. I feel alone now, but not lonely, just alone. Her taste still sharp on my tongue and lips, grateful for her trust given and what she has shared with me, wondering though what it would be like to make love with her.
Sorry. I wish we could go longer. There are some people that want to extend, but I've been told by the bar that we really gone almost an hour over. So we're very gracious and appreciative. Thank you, Prince, so much for devastating us the way you did. Jenny, thank you so much for enlightening us and sharing that experience. Katrina's not here any longer. Julia, thank you for the improv without your work in front of you. That was very awesome in Translate. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you the first Thursday of November. Thanks all for being here. Rock and roll. Much appreciated. Thank you, Kelly. Let's show Kelly some love right now. Thank you. Thank you, Chris, special guest. Let's look on the side.
And thank you, Perry, and all of you. Yeah, it would have been better if I knew that. It would have been better if I knew I was doing it.